Welcome to Dr. Mary Travel Best's 5 Steps to Solo Travel Guide for women like you who need extra support traveling one woman at a time. Please share this podcast. I appreciate your feedback and travel questions as I write another book about my 90 days around the world. In this episode, the FAQ is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of Venmo? Today's destination is Chennai, India. Today's misstep, stolen sneakers in Acalpulco. And travel advice, carry socks on the plane. So let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of Venmo. You asked me about this. So Venmo is a financial service, and the perception of whether it's good or bad probably depend on your preferences, your needs, and your experiences. So here's some things to consider. On my trip around the world, I had the opportunity to use Venmo in Turkey to pay for a hostel that did not accept credit cards. It worked really smoothly. I've been using the app for several years, and here are the good and not so good. So first, the advantages. It's convenient. It's easy to use. You can send or receive money through this mobile app. You can split bills, share expenses, and make small transactions among friends and family. Socially integrated? Right, there's a social feed that lets users see and comment on their friends' transactions. Wide acceptance? Many online and offline merchants accept Venmo as payment. So that's a good thing. And security? They've got some pretty good security features like two-factor authentication and encryption to help protect users' financial information. It is also free for standard transactions, so they don't charge fees for small and limited bank account or debit card transactions. Now, some of the disadvantages: privacy. The social feed feature on Venmo can lead to privacy concerns, or transactions are often visible to others by default. So you can adjust your privacy settings. Now, there could be fees for certain transactions. So if you're going to be using a credit card or transferring funds to a limited bank account instantly, you may have to pay a fee. There's limited customer support too. Some users have reported challenges with Venmo's customer support. And it's also not ideal for large transactions. It's for small peer-to-peer ones. Lastly, risk of scams. As with any digital payment platform, there's a risk of scams or fraudulent activities. Follow best practices. And now for today's destination, Chennai, India. My first visit to India was this summer, and I went to Chennai, formerly Madras. I flew from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I took Air Asia. My first thought arriving at midnight was that I didn't want to get ripped off by the taxi driver, but that happened. So the driver promised that it was him. Yes, he was going to take me. He threw my bag in the trunk and closed it. So I was kind of stuck. So he left the car as soon as the vehicle left the airport. And another driver, a shoeless one, jumped in to take me to my hotel. This driver had no change. He said I needed to pay him in cash and could not refund or change my bills. Fortunately, my hotel was able to step in and help me out. I paid him for my hotel bill, so they added the charges to my account. I had cash, but all 2,000 rupee note bills, and they were worth like $25 each. No one seemed to be using this denomination anymore. The country kind of stopped using that currency, so I kind of got swindled when I changed my money in Vietnam, because they would have known this. So the next day, I had to go change my bills. I went to a bank. No banker was there. I sat down. A half hour later, someone came to give me the change of my 2,000 rupee bills. At least one. But now, at least I could buy breakfast. I was staying at a 3-star hotel. And it was interesting. I arrived at midnight, and after I checked in, the trainee brought me supplies, including toilet paper, a bath mat, and a few other things, after I was in the room. Now, I didn't know how to use the buckets in the bathroom, but that was okay too. The rest of the day consisted of going to the beach. I went to the top of a lookout tower and then walked along the beach. It was quite dirty, and there's no swimming there. I could rent a horse if I wanted to, maybe a camel, but I didn't do that. Now let's talk about tourism. Chennai, it's the capital city of Tamil Nadu with a mix of traditional and modern experiences for solo female travelers. Now, I visited Marina Beach. It was one of the longest urban beaches in the world. I walked there for hours. It's easy to get to from downtown on a motorbike or taxi, as I did. And what are some other things? You can explore Fort St. George. You can go shopping. You can attend a dance performance. There's a dance form called Bharatanatyam. So you can check out local schedules for dance performances and enjoy this beautiful art form. Now, also South Indian cuisine has dishes like dosa. And I really liked the dosa, but not the spices. So I had my peanut butter when I couldn't eat that chili. While exploring Chennai, it's also essential to prioritize your safety, stick to well-lit and populated areas, use reliable transportation, and be cautious of your surroundings. And now for today's misstep, stolen sneakers in Acapulco. So we were swimming by the pool at a resort in Acalpulco. We had a taxi driver there too. But guess what? 2 hours later, the sneakers we had set aside were gone. They were the only thing stolen. Now, I could purchase another pair, of course, but it was weird to have a pair of old sneakers stolen while I was in the same area. And now for today's travel advice. Walking contributes to heart health, weight management, and mental health. Ask the mission walker, Edie Littlefield Sunby. She's one of my heroes. She walks more than anyone I know, especially after being diagnosed with cancer. Now, walking is not a cure for illnesses, but it can contribute to overall health and well-being, potentially reducing the risk of certain diseases and improving aspects of your physical and mental health. So regular physical activity, such as walking, could be associated with several health benefits, including cardiovascular health, weight management, mental health, joint and bone health, improved immune function and sleep, and also diabetes prevention, type 2 that is. So I want to bring meaning to your travels. I'm Dr. Mary Travel Best. Send me a question or a travel tip. Sign up for the newsletter. We can connect on social or email. Find the 5 Steps to Solo Travel series. Please support this podcast with a review.
What's on your travel bucket list? Tell the doctor and her team of women who travel the world seeking the very best. Dr. Travel Best, that is.